We were just as curious as you as to what the monthly cost of living in Portugal is, so we decided that in the month of March we would track every single euro that we spent. So in this video today, we're gonna break down where every euro went, where we think we could have saved, and then how closely we matched our projected budget. So let's go.
Okay, let's start with some fixed costs that we know that we have every single month. And those two things are rent and health insurance. We rent our apartment through a property management company called Living, and we pay 900 euros for that. Our bills aren't included, so we'll get to those a little later on. And then health insurance is a private international health plan from Insured Nomads. And before you overreact to how much we pay, we need to preface it by saying that this plan fits certain circumstances for us. When we get to where we think we could have saved, we'll talk more about this, but our monthly health insurance is 419 euros for the three of us.
Yeah, and as we said, it fit the circumstance at the time. All right, so with those two line items out of the way, let's go day by day and show you what we spent on what.
March 1st, we start off by loading our Metro cards with 10 trips, which costs around 12 euros each. I made a trip to a special shop called Ecological Kids, which has certain specialty products that I like to get for Sia. They have more natural type products. I spent 52 euro there on items like diapers, diaper cream, wipes, things like that, but it'll last several weeks. And then funny enough, we went to the grocery store twice this day. One trip was 24.52 and the other was 40.88.
The picture of inefficiency, and you'll see throughout this. On March 2nd, we ate out. We grabbed a pizza for 17.50, pastries for dessert for 2 euros, and then we picked up 2 liters of Superbot for 3.98. Don't worry, we didn't drink it all at once. We're not German.
March 3rd, we moved stuff from our older apartment to our new apartment. So we took 2 separate Ubers for that from downtown up to where we are now. And the first one was 6.45 and the second one was 3.65. Now the price difference is because Josh was in an Uber XL to load some of the larger items that we had to move.
That's right.
On March 4th, we went back to the grocery store where we spent 82.08, and then we realized that the wine opener at our place is not good, so we needed to buy a new one. So we spent 7 euros for a wine opener. Spoiler alert, it's also not good.
It's trash. On March 5th, we needed to top up our phones, and we decided not to buy a monthly plan as it's not necessary. So instead, every 2 weeks, we get a notification on our phone and we add 10 euros. So that notification is super easy. So we add 10 euros to each phone through our Millennium app, and we bought some more beer that day. Now, a disclaimer here, we do drink wine as well, but we normally get that with our groceries, so that's kind of clumped into that bill. Beer, we normally pick up at a little shop by us. This time it was 3.46.
March 6th, we ate out again and we got some to-go sushi. We spent 20 euros on the sushi.
Guess what? We didn't spend any money on March 7th, so let's roll to March 8th. We got poke from Uber Eats and spent 15.97 on that. They had a little special.
March 9th, we were back at the bakery and we spent 5 euros. We also picked up some more beer for €1.50. And then we took an Uber downtown for Sia's doctor's appointment. She had to get her normal baby vaccinations. And we were running a little late, so to save time, we took an Uber there, but then we metroed back. That Uber was 3.98.
We were on a real beer kick there.
I guess.
On March 11th, we ran to the grocery store and spent 71.66, another grocery store run.
Lots of grocery stores. On March 12th, we had to go to the bakery again, of course, because it had been a few days. So another bakery run saw us spending $2.70 on some of those yummy treats. And then we ran out of trash bags, so we had to run to the little store nearby and buy a roll, which was $1.50.
Yeah. March 13th, we picked up takeaway for dinner at a churrascaria nearby us. Now, a churrascaria is basically the Portuguese word for barbecue. We spent $13.50 for dinner.
Yummy. On March 14th, I met a friend with Sia, so I took an Uber down to her place, which is near Casa de Musica, and then back home to where we are in Competence. So those trips together were 7 euro.
Not bad.
No.
On March 15th, we picked up a bag of coffee at our favorite roasters in the city, So Coffee. If you guys are on our Instagram, you've probably seen us post about So. It was also the first day that we could finally go out and buy drinks, like to go. So of course we got 2 coffees each. Well, not 2 coffees each, but 2 coffees. And that totaled 21 euros. And naturally, when we're downtown, we wanted to pop into a bakery, so we spent 5 euros for the snacks. We also paid $2.99 for some food on this really cool app called Too Good To Go, but Kalie's gonna explain more about that.
Yeah, so a friend introduced me to this app where restaurants, cafes, grocery stores, and places like that can join this app to reduce food waste. So instead of throwing away the food at the end of the night that they have to make fresh, you can get it, the consumer can get it heavily discounted. So the cool thing is you don't know what you're going to get. So you just buy it on the app and it's a surprise. You go in, you show them that you've bought it, and then they just chuck in a bunch of different things. And there's a certain time frame that you have to go in that the restaurant or cafe, whatever, can choose. So it's really cool. It's all over the world actually, well, in several different countries. Again, it's called Too Good To Go. So moving on, another thing that also opened besides the coffee, takeaway coffee, were the barbers. So on March 16th, Josh got his hair cut. He paid €10 for that. We made another grocery run, $49.70, and I finally got the Memrise app, which was €7.55, but because my Apple ID is USD, it charges $8.99.
On March 17th, it was Kalie's turn to get a haircut, and as usual, girls end up paying more, so hers was $19. I don't know why. We yet again made a quick grocery run of some things that we needed, but that only cost $13.81, and then we made another beer run for $3.98.
On March 18th, it was time to top up our phones again, so we paid €20 total for that, and then we got an ice cream down at the river. But funny enough, Josh was trying to order an iced coffee, and somehow we ended up with an ice cream. That was €3, and of course it was overpriced because we were right on the river. Then we got home a little late, so instead of cooking, we decided to do Uber Eats. We got sushi again, this time $22.90.
On March 20th, we were back at the grocery store again, driving me crazy. This time it was a quick run, and it was $13.69.
But on March 22nd, we were back at the store for a big run, not just a little one. You gotta keep up with those fresh fruits and veggies for Sia, right? That was $66.37.
March 23rd, Kalie had to top up her Metro card as she had been running all over town meeting friends while I was at home working. So Kalie enjoys getting Sia out and playing in different parts of the city. She topped up for €12.
On March 24th, we took an Uber that morning to meet a realtor for our luxury property shoot. If you missed that video, we looked at 3 different luxury properties to show you what around €1 million can get you in Porto.
That's nice.
It was a fun one. So you can check the link in the description below if you want to see that video after you finish watching this one. It was a long day after shooting, so that meant we didn't want to cook when we got home.
I didn't want to cook.
Yeah, Josh cooks. So we ordered pregos on Uber Eats for $35.80. Pregos are these amazing tender beef sandwiches on bakery bread that are considered a national sandwich. The other national sandwich is the bifana, which is actually made with tender pork meat.
Yeah, very confusing. On March 26th, Kalie went to another natural type store called Ideal Bio to pick up some stuff for Sia. Ecological Kids wasn't open, so she went to this other shop, and there she spent €48.
On March 27th, the only thing we spent money on was beer, and it was €2.
Okay, so we're winding down here. March 29th, we had another grocery run for €71, and then Kalie ran to the vet to pick up some stuff for Pincho, and we needed some special treats to help his knees because he's an old man, he's a bit wobbly. And then we also needed some more tick and flea stuff that we put on him, so that bill was $56.30.
Okay, so a bit random, but on March 30th, we went to McDonald's, which is something that we rarely do. But we were watching this episode on Sorted Foods, which is a YouTube channel about food, where they tried to recreate the Big Mac. And it made me want a Big Mac. So we went there on our walk, and we got the whole meal for $5.10.
Yeah. Last day of the month, we picked up a few groceries for $28, and then we also had to get some dog stuff for Pincho. That was $14.75. It had been way too long since we had been to a bakery, so it was time for a treat. We went and spent $2.25 at the bakery. We also paid some bills, which was $67 for utilities. We had a few other entertainment costs throughout the month that we pay monthly subscriptions for, and it's mainly sports packages and such, and that came in at $45.90 this month.
Here are the totals. Let's talk about how we could have saved some money, where we might end up spending more in the future, and how closely we actually got to our projected budget.
To make a comparison here, this is our projected budget. We could save money on rent, but to be honest, I think that we've done well in terms of the places that we're living in and not having to sign a longer term contract. Now, we could probably get something of the same quality for around €100 less. We don't want to move outside of the city, but if we did do that, then the monthly rent could really drop.
The biggest savings could potentially be with our international health insurance.
Absolutely.
So we talked about before, it's time to explain what that is.
Yeah.
When we got our insurance, we decided to get a good policy because we were planning on traveling all over, so leaving Portugal. We didn't think that wouldn't be an option to not be able to leave. We wanted to be covered in many other countries, and we wanted to make sure we were getting good insurance for Sia. So because of that, we all had to be on the same package. So we got pretty good insurance, a pretty good policy for traveling around. Obviously, we haven't been able to travel. We also decided to get it for 12 months, which wasn't really necessary. So we could have gotten a shorter policy to cover us for getting our visas and then gone with something less expensive once we actually arrived here in Portugal, especially something that would just cover us in the country since we haven't been able to leave anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely could have saved money. So we could have saved money on coffee as well by buying cheaper stuff, but no, I refuse to make that sacrifice. Just no. But you guys can. So you could grab a bag of coffee for under €6, where we're paying over twice that for specialty coffee.
It's like a luxury.
It is. It's not actually that much per cup.
That's pretty similar to our expenses for Valencia. We feel okay about our budget spending money on the premium stuff for her little bummy.
Her little bum, yeah. We're definitely also saving money on transportation with how much we walk and the fact that we don't take really any form of rapid transportation on a daily basis. Gas prices in Portugal aren't cheap, so by not owning a car, you're doing well there. There are a few things that I think that are going to happen in the future as far as the costs go. In March, things were still pretty locked down, so we weren't really able to go out and about very much. We weren't able to sit on terraces and have wine or beer or have a meal for that matter. So now that that stuff's opening up, I think that our dining out budget's going to be a bit higher. Our grocery budget should drop a little bit, but always eating out is, I shouldn't say always, most of the time eating out is more expensive than dining in.
And I think that the shopping bill might go up a little bit because clothes shopping was closed. So now that it's open, we'll probably do a little shopping for some clothes.
Yeah, I've completely worn out my shoes, so I definitely need a new pair of shoes. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. As far as other budget items that I think will move, obviously we're going to be spending some money on travel at some point in the near future, in the near-ish future, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And
it's happening soon.
Yeah, and that's probably it. It would be awesome to lower that insurance bill because I think that could really offset all of the travel stuff. We've heard of people getting insurance as low as like €50 for their family.
If you want to know more about grocery store prices in Portugal, click this video here where we show you inside 3 of the most popular grocery stores here and show you prices of around 20 common items.
And if you're just starting to look into what it takes to move to Portugal, we've created a playlist just for you. Click here. Now let's get moving.